Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another Beyond the Board Game review. Today we're going to be taking a look at two more expansions for Carcassonne, called The Princess and the Dragon, and Abbey and Mayor. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video on just the base game explaining the core rules, please go watch that first, because I will not be talking about any of the basic rules here. I will simply be talking about the expansions and what they bring to the table. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, The Princess and the Dragon. This is by far my favorite expansion for the game Carcassonne. Why? Well, duh, it's got a dragon. I will not play Carcassonne anymore unless it has the dragon in it. You could take out all the other pieces and you have to keep the dragon, because for me, this game is now incomplete without the dragon. Not to say I didn't enjoy the base game before it, but once you play with the dragon, you will not be able to play it without the dragon. So let's quickly see what the game comes with. It comes with the dragon, the fairy, and a whole bunch of new tiles. That's cool. Well, let's just check out the dragon. The first thing you'll see inside the box is, of course, directions. So first, well, we know what we all want to see. We all want to see the dragon. Sweet. There he is. He looks really good, too. Then the other piece that comes with it is the fairy, which, of course, protects you from the dragon, which is a cool addition. I do very much like both those pieces. Each new expansion keeps getting a little bigger, a little better. This one comes with 30 tiles. Wow. The first new tile I'll be talking about is this one. This is the Volcano Tile. Real simple. Whenever someone places the Volcano Tile, that is the space that the dragon has to go immediately. The dragon also does not even enter the board. He remains off the board until one of these volcanoes actually comes onto the board. The next fascinating piece is this one. Once you place it, this is a portal, meaning that you basically place your guy on the portal. He can be placed anywhere that is on the board that would still be considered legal. So if there's a castle that's incomplete somewhere, you could place a follower in. If there's a road incomplete somewhere, you can place a follower in, etc., etc. And here's the most lovely piece of them all, the dragon symbol tile. When this is drawn, wherever you place it does not matter. That means that the dragon is now going to start moving. He moves 6 spaces, and whatever space he goes in, he destroys all followers. Let's say that this is the setup, and I just placed this dragon tile here, and I decide to place a follower on that road. Now the dragon has to move 6 spaces, so it would start with the player who laid the dragon tile, so I obviously can go nowhere but here. Then it would go to the next player's turn. Then they would have a choice. They could go here or here. They could go here, or they could go here, which would destroy this follower that's in that castle. They cannot, however, move back into a square that the dragon just left. That's a rule. Dragon can never go into a space that he was already during his descent. So let's say the next player goes here. Then it would be the next player's turn to move this again, and it would go here or here, but they more than likely want to wipe out my guy. And when they do, he can obviously go in no direction because he can't go back where he went, so he has to stop there. So now to explain one of the other pieces, which is the fairy, we'll take this exact same scenario. Let's say I take this road and place it here. Well, normally, boom, I would just place a follower there. But instead of placing a follower, you are allowed to take the fairy and put it next to one of your followers, which already exists on the board. So let's say I put him there next to that follower. Now when I move the dragon here, that player, the next player who goes, cannot move in this space. The dragon is not allowed to move in a space with a fairy, so inevitably he'd have to go this way, and then he would be stuck because he can't go back on the space he just traveled. If you start with the fairy on your turn, meaning a whole cycle of turns has went around, you get an extra point right off the bat. The last benefit is if I actually end up completing this castle, in addition to the 1, 2, 3, 4 points I would get for that castle, I get an additional 3 because I was with the fairy in the structure that I completed. So I would get 7 points in that circumstance. The last type of symbol that I have yet to explain is this one, which is called the princess. I guess that's a princess, but it's the princess tile. When you place that tile, if there is a follower, or it doesn't matter how many, if there is a follower in that city, one at least has to be woed out of that city. So, therefore, if you have a follower in a city and you draw this tile, you are not going to want to place it into your city because it will remove your knight. If, however, there is, say, more than one follower in a city, and you place a princess, you get to choose which of the two come out. Whoever placed the tile gets to choose if they want this follower to leave or that follower to leave. This piece is also pretty nifty. In addition to it being a dragon tile, it's also a cloister within a city. So when you lay this down, you have the choice of either picking the cloister and becoming a monk, or picking the city and becoming a knight. Very interesting piece. All in all, this is the best expansion, in my opinion, for Carcassonne. If you have to get one out of all of them, get this one. I'd take it over Inns and Cathedrals. I'd take it over Traders and Builders. I'd take it over Abbey and Mayor. I almost take it over the base game. I mean, that's saying something. This is good expansion. And yes, it's well worth the buy. The last expansion, people seem to have a hard time grasping the figures in it for me. Every time I teach the game, everything else is very simple for them, but as soon as I start to explain the pieces that come with this game, people start to get a little confused. As you can see, there's many things in this game. It comes with, there's 3 different types of new figures that come with it, a few new tiles. I highly recommend it though, very fun. As opposed to the Prince and the Dragon, I'd still take the Prince and the Dragon, but this is a close second, in my opinion, to the best of the Carcassonne expansions. Let's open it up. And, directions, whatever. Alright, but now we'll get to the good stuff. We've got a whole bunch of new little figurines in here. What are these, barns? We've got a whole bunch of tiles. We've got mayors in here. And we've got wagons. And of course, the abbeys, which I will explain in further detail. First thing you'll see is that, well, you got a lot less tiles than before. You only get 12, but they are some really cool looking tiles. Like, this is a road that doesn't end in 3 directions. 2 pennant cities. I mean, there's just some, like this one. Look at this one. A bridge over, so it's 2 different cities on the same tile like that. I mean, that's just really cool. But I will substitute any day of the week. I will take more figures and less tiles. So, this is what we got. We've got barns of all different colors. We've got wagons of all different colors and mayors in all the different colors. And then, of course, an abbey. So, let's figure out what all these things do. The next new piece is the abbey. So, it's basically a wild card. So, let's say we've got this blank space in the middle of our board, and we think that this piece has already been used somewhere else, and this will be a vacant space for the rest of the game. What you can do is you can place your abbey in there, and it's a walled-off cloister, basically. So you can put a guy in there, and you, in this circumstance, would be able to instantly score him. Because on all 8 sides, he is completed. The cloister would give you 9 points right off the bat. So if placed right, this piece can be a whopping 9 points right in the middle of the game. Plus, I've always been kind of annoyed if there's that one little section in the middle of my board that's never completed. But now with these, and every player gets one, you can fill up those vacant spaces and really make the board just look complete, which is cool. Now we will talk about the barn. It's a nice hefty chunk of wood right there. It's nice. Anyway, what the barn does is when you place a tile here, if there are 4 corners, like a little intersection here where 4 corners touch and it's all grass, that is where you can place the barn. Now the barn is basically a souped up farmer. He counts for 5 for each city he touches at the end. Also, you will notice that there's already a farmer in this farm. So when I place this barn, this farmer is instantly scored for whatever he would score for. So right now he's touching all incompleted cities, so he would get nothing. But farmers are instantly scored and then removed from the farm they are in. And then this barn takes precedence over everything else in this farm area. So nothing else can be placed. It is the barns, unless, of course, you get another barn that somehow sneaks from a different farm into this farm. The next piece we're going to talk about here is the wagon. So let's say he's chilling on this road here. So this road's still incomplete. But once it is completed, you will score this wagon, and then he'll be able to go along this road, boom, into a next incompleted feature. Let's say now he completed this castle. So he would score this castle, and then he would go into this incompleted road until, of course, the road is completed. Then he'd be able to go to the next incomplete feature he touches. Now we get to the last new piece, which is the mayor, or as I like to call him, Fat Pants, because he looks a lot like the big followers in the last game. So the only thing to really specify him is big pants or fat legs, whatever you want to call him. I call him Fat Pants, but he's the mayor. Anyway, say you put him here. Say you put this tile here and you want to put him into this castle. Mayors can only go into castles, right? So, boom, we got him in this castle here. He's worth 1 follower for each pendant in the city. Let's say I placed this with my fat pants. Now we have 1, 2, 3 pennants in this. So he would be worth 3 followers. So that was Abbey and Mayor expansion. I like this expansion a lot. It's just kind of hard to, you know, especially if you're explaining Carcassonne to the first time to people, it seems a little bit overwhelming with the dragon, the traders, the builders, Abbey and the Mayor, with all that combined. It just seems a tad overwhelming for a game, but it's still extremely simple. And once people get the hang of it, they don't want to play without any of these expansions. So, as a final result, I'd say Abbey and Mayor, definitely worth the buy. If you enjoy Carcassonne, definitely worth getting. I don't know if it would be the first one I'd get, as it includes a lot of things and seems just a little too complex after just playing Carcassonne. Hey, if you like the review and you like this one the best, there's no reason why it could not be the first one you get. So as a final tally, I'd say these two were the best expansions. Traders and Builders was good. Inns and Cathedrals, well, was more of the same. But these two added the depth that I wanted for this game. It was getting extremely stale for me with Traders and Builders and Inns and Cathedrals. But when I got these, now this game is almost like, I mean, we played a 2-hour game last night at Carcassonne. Usually it's 30 or 45 minutes. We played 2 hours worth of this game because we played with all the tiles. When you throw it all in, this game really turns into something very unique, very cool. I consider the Princess and the Dragon to be an absolute must. It is the first one that I'd recommend getting out of any of them if you enjoy Carcassonne. The rest will just add some neat features that you will enjoy.